Hi everyone, and welcome to Inside Bristol. I'm your host Sheridan Nichols, and joining me today I've got Melissa Roberts and Brandy Peters talking about Bristol Promise. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having us.
We really appreciate it, and we're excited to hear about this. Maybe fill us in first with Bristol Promise and what all you do.
Well, Bristol's Promise is kind of one of the best kept secrets in Bristol. So it started out of a community envisioning process in the late 90s, and it looks into the community to see what needs there are and then creates partnerships and initiatives to meet those needs. And so we have an on-grade reading partnership that we do with United Way and the Bristol school system that makes sure that kids are on grade level reading by third grade. We have a parenting network. We have the Buckle Up for Life, which is a car seat safety initiative. So there are lots of different things we do. Two of the newest initiatives that we're doing are adverse childhood experiences, trauma-informed care, but then also the Bristol Connect Workforce Sustainability. And those two work together really closely. Adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs as they're known, are things that have happened in a person's life before they turned 18 that can have lifelong health impacts. So if you have an ACE score, is what they call it, of 6 or more, you can be likely to die 20 years earlier than someone who doesn't have an ACE score. So this is something that stays with us throughout our entire life, but there's hope. I mean, it's not the end of the world if you have a high ACE score. There's resiliency. And so that's where this Bristol Connect Workforce Sustainability Program comes in, is we know we're doing everything we can. Our schools, our cities are doing great work with the kids, but now we want to work with people that we know are going to have a higher ACE score who are in the workforce, and we want to do wraparound services. And so I'll let Brandy tell you a little bit more about how that works.
So the Bristol Connect program really is a partnership with the employers in our area. And so we partner with the employers in the area to take care of those frontline workers, to kind of meet them one-on-one right where they are, go to that place of employment and sit down and help people with the basic needs. Sometimes it's food insecurity, sometimes it's continued education, sometimes it's childcare. And we know those issues are big in our community. And so the Community Resource Navigator is going to be right there with them working to help that. And we know when you provide those wraparound services to our employees, it makes better employees for the employer, so they can shift their focus back to being productive. And we can give them a sense of well-being that they need to be productive and be at work and be on time, so then they can go home with their paycheck because they've been at work all week, and they can take care of their families. And if we take that pressure off of them of basic needs, then they can focus on their kids, which ties right back into the ACEs and the trauma-informed care.
And if people, first of all, how do you know what your ACE score is? How would you go about finding this out?
So there was a study done in the mid-90s by the Centers for Disease Control and Kaiser Permanente, and they identified 10 different factors that had these lifelong. So it's not just, this or that or the other. These have been through rigorous scientific testing. And there's an ACEs survey, and then there's an expanded one that Philadelphia did a little while later to kind of be more inclusive. So, we say the ACE score out of 10, but it's things like, were your parents divorced before you turned 18? Did somebody in your household experience mental illness? So it's things like that. But really, we just kind of work on the assumption that everybody has some kind of adverse childhood experience, and if you don't,
right.
Great.
No one escapes.
Right, but the trauma
In our lives.
Right, and the trauma-informed care is just a lens that we look at the community through. And so even if you don't have an ACE score, it's not like it's going to be detrimental if we're trauma responsive to you. It just means we're going to be kind and compassionate and caring. And the cool thing about this Bristol Connect program is that there are a couple of places across the country that are doing it, but nowhere else in the Southeast has started a program like this. So this is a really unique experience for our community and an opportunity to really get in there to the grassroots of people who are trying really hard and might just need a little bit of support.
And I always think it's so sad when you do see someone out there in the workforce really working and trying, and then there's all these setbacks, and they just can't get ahead, and they still can't keep up, and they're maybe not even earning enough. So to have this service is really amazing.
Yeah. And one of the things that we find really interesting, we're working with a local credit union to try and do a loan pool for these employees because we know that Bristol, Virginia has 4 predatory lenders within the city limits, and Bristol, Tennessee has 24.
Wow.
So that's a really shocking statistic. And a lot of people who are unbanked or underbanked is what they call it, don't have banking experience, don't have a bank account. They're going there and cashing their checks and getting a little more in debt every pay period. And so it's this cycle that keeps people in this poverty. And so we want to talk with them about, hey, this is how credit works, and this is how lenders, predatory lenders work, but let's give you this other opportunity. We know you're working hard. We know your truck broke down and you might need, $500 to get it fixed. We don't want you to go into massive 500% interest rate debt.
Right.
To be able to fix that and make it to work. So let's work with you. So it's a really comprehensive program that we're super excited to bring to the people of Bristol.
Well, we so appreciate it. Now, if someone's listening and you need this service or you're just curious about it, how do they get in touch?
So they can go to our website. It's bristolspromise.org because we are a nonprofit organization. Or they can give us a call. Our number is 423-444-0622.
Thank you, ladies, so much for being on. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Inside Bristol. I'm your host, Sheridan Nichols, and I've got Debbie Richmond with me today from the Sullivan County Branch House Family Center. Thank you for being with us. And I also have a special guest, Moose.
Moose
Is here, and tell us a little bit about some of the programs you have and about Moose.
Yeah. Okay, so I work at the Branch House. And we service domestic violence victims and also sexual assault victims. That's only one of the criteria that you can accept services from us. They're all free. They're all confidential. We have Moose there. He is a therapy dog. Moose is a rescue dog. We really don't know what is in him, but we think he's got some husky in him. He loves to work with victims, and he meets them at the door when they get there. We make sure that they like animals, and then he follows them into the therapy room or whatever they're doing that day if they're okay with it. And he sits on the couch with them and puts his head in their lap, and it's just immediately calming for them. Everybody loves Moose. If you're a dog lover, everybody loves Moose. We also see a lot of children come through the center with their caregiver. And so Moose likes to go in the playroom and play with the children. So he is a big hit at our office. He also was abused when we got him. He had been abused and dehydrated and underweight. So he just fits right in with domestic violence and healing and a victim-centered approach at Branch House.
Well, and I know that you have like the longest list of services.
Yes.
So share some of those with me.
Well, we have several partner agencies that are housed inside of our building, but also we have partners that are not in our building that we can reach out to. So one of the best services we have is you can get therapy at the Branch House, no charge, and it is confidential. And you can have ongoing therapy. We can have group therapy. We also can offer transitional housing if you need to move because of a situation. We can get you into a domestic violence shelter. We can help you with food. Maybe if your water's been disconnected or your electricity has been disconnected, we can try to hook up services to get that help for you. Also, if you're elderly, if you're 60 years old, and I don't want to say that's elderly because, okay, that's right. If you're 60, you can apply for services if you're a victim of crime, and that is through CREVA, and they can help replenish some of what you have lost, like if you get your tires slashed from vandalism or your windows broken from vandalism, then that's something that CREVA can help people that are 60 or older. We also work with Safe House, which is domestic violence shelter, and Abuse Alternatives, which is domestic violence. And one of a really important aspect at Branch House is we have advocates. Advocates can do so many things for you. They help you fill out order of protections. We can walk you through that. The advocates will go to court with you with your orders of protections. There's also all kinds of other things that they can do for you. And some of our advocates are employed by the YWCA through a YW Cares program. And they specialize with 17-year-olds to 24-year-olds, but also after hours, they can help all age groups. They can provide transportation, take you to doctor's appointments, do all kinds of things for you, help you with bullying, harassment, any of those kind of things. We have legal aid. And starting in March, the best thing, actually, we've been working on this since we've opened in 2018. We're going to have a sexual assault nurse who is going to be housed at Branch House. So our sexual assault victims will be coming to Branch House to have the forensic exams. They won't be sitting in a waiting room at a hospital. There won't be that long wait. It'll be victim-centered. The officer can meet you there to take the report. It will be private. And we can get you in a lot quicker, get you in and get you out, get you set up with advocates, all kinds of things. So I could go on all day about the services at Branch House, and I guess you can tell how passionate I am about it. And I've been involved with the Branch House ever since the governor wanted us to put a family justice center in Sullivan County in 2017. So I didn't work for Branch House at the time, but I was involved in helping Branch House get started. So all the workers there are very passionate about what we do for victims of domestic violence. We also provide transportation if they don't have a car to get them to our office. So I know I'm leaving 100 things out, but
I think
you can't think of everything.
If you have any questions or something, hit a chord with you, how do we get in touch?
Well, you can always call your local police department. But also we have Branch House is in the phone book. Well, not the phone book, but we have a
Google.
Yes. Google it. We have a Facebook page. It's just Branch House. And the phone number is there. And if it's after hours, the phone number is routed to an advocate. So you get to speak to somebody 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Also, I guess one other thing we need to talk about on Leap Day, February the 29th, and we've called it Leap Into Action. Of course, we are a nonprofit, and we don't have a cleaning. We do all the cleaning, we do all the maintenance, whatever needs to be done. You paint the ceiling, whatever. So we're having Leap Into Action. It's kind of, you get an extra day this year. So we're asking for volunteers to come and help us that day. We'll be there all day long. Help us move some furniture, set up some things, do some touch-up painting, organize some shelves, just do all kinds of maintenance things that about anybody can do, not anything that's strenuous. And I know a lot of college students have to put in so much of volunteer time.
Absolutely.
So that would be
and high
great.
schoolers or churches.
Churches. So think of us. If you want to
Absolutely.
volunteer, think of us that day. We'll be there. We'll be working hard. And we certainly would appreciate your help.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for being on. And thank you to Moose for being on today. It was great to visit with you. And
thank
now we know how to
you.
get in touch with you.
Yeah, and Moose did a really good job today. I'm proud
I know.
of
I
him.
think
didn't
I think the
Moose?
heat of the lights,
It put him to
like
sleep.
very relaxed. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to Inside Bristol. I'm your host, Sheridan Nichols, and I've got Tiffany Scardo with me today from the YMCA. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
And it seems like it's still wintertime, but really we're talking summer
Yes.
adventure camp.
Absolutely.
Tell us all about this camp at the YMCA.
Okay, so as you know, last year was a founding year for us. So 2019, we took Camp Adventure and opened it at our 5-acre outdoor spot there on the what used to be our Spring Lakes, but on the Bristol, Virginia side. So this year it is Camp Adventure 2020. We are already up running, super excited. So the dates this year are going to be May 26th through July 31st. So it's 10 weeks. With lots of activities already planned. The theme last year was Passport to Adventure, and this year is just going to be Best Summer Ever.
Oh, I love that. So Camp Adventure, and you do all sorts of things.
Yeah, so we really try to get the kids out and we get them into the community. So it's not just at the Y and then at camp. So we go to places like the movies on Wednesday. We have Movie Morning Wednesday. We have Still Creek Park Fridays. So every Friday we spend it at Stills Creek Park, hiking, the Nature Center, so the splash pad, just taking advantage of the beautiful place that is Stills Creek. We also do little small trips to places like Bays Mountain. We also go to skating sometimes. Rainy days, we'll end up at the skating ring. We do the library every week to make sure that we're combating that summer reading loss prevention. So we're out and about. We let the community know we're here.
It's amazing. So people can register now if you want a spot for sure. And how do they do that?
So they can go to our website and sign up, or they can stop by our office and get signed up. So two really easy, simple, laid back options. So I love to get everybody to come by and see us, just because I love to see the campers. I love to see the parents. I like to let them meet me. But if getting online and getting registered is better, then it's quick, simple, and easy. All that information comes to me, and then we're in and ready to roll.
And what about the age range for Camp Adventure?
So last year was the first year that we offered little campers, which was for 4 and 5-year-olds that focused on school readiness for August. So we do start again this year with our little campers. So that is for 4 and 5-year-olds. And then we have our Pathfinders, which are 1st through 5th graders, and then 6th through 8th graders into freshman year is our Trekker group. So we serve all the way from 4 years old all the way up through 13, 14 years old.
That's great. And every week it has a little different twist to it too, which I think is fantastic. Yes. If you go for the whole summer.
So that is one thing that we're bringing back this year that's going to be kind of like what you're used to with YMCA summer camps, and that is going to be a changing weekly theme, which will be anything from Superhero Week to Going Green to Nature Week and even the Olympics.
Wow. Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Outdoor Olympics will be great.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have some fun.
Well, Tiffany, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks so much for having me.
Definitely get online and check it out, because those summers are definitely very magical, and
absolutely,
and it's a great service for our kids.
Well, like we said, at the Y, we just believe in having the biggest impact that we can, and this really gives us that opportunity to have that with our youth.
And it'll be their best summer ever.
It's going to be the best summer ever.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't go anywhere. We've got a big surprise coming up next. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Inside Bristol. I'm your host, Sheridan Nichols, and I've got an interesting guest on with us today, and one that's very important. Welcome to the show, Mr. Bagman, and we appreciate you and the cause that you're behind. So we all hear how important it is to recycle for our community and environment. Tell us about some of the items that we can recycle in Bristol.
I would be happy to, Sheridan. The city of Bristol takes 3 main items. We take cardboard, which has to be flattened. We take plastics, number 1 and number 2. And then we also take paper, newspaper, magazines, notebook pages, things like that.
Perfect. And there are several locations in our community. If you're new to recycling, now you've written those items down, but there are a few locations around town where we are making it easy so that we can help and do our best in our community. Where are those locations?
The first, excuse me, the first one is at Blackley Road. The second one is on Broad Street. And the third one is at Holston View Elementary. And the fourth one is at Avoca Elementary.
So, well, as you can see, poor Mr. Bagman's covered in bags, and it's probably not so good for his health. Tell us a little bit about this.
This is years of people throwing the bags in the recycling bin, which is where they do not go there. And the reason they do not go there is that they gunk up the machines, and then the loads get contaminated, and then they have to be thrown out or taken to the landfill. And then you end up with this.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Bagman, thank you so much for being on today. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And we just want to thank all of you for taking the time to recycle, those of you who are, and if you aren't, to jump in the game, because it's really important and it'll make a difference.
Very important.
And thank you so much for joining us today on Inside Bristol. We'll see you next time.